Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishottle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishottle. Doug, absolutely tragic week in sports. I always say it's a busy week in sports, but this one's absolutely tragic. Of course, I'm talking about the helicopter accident that claimed 9 lives, including Kobe Bryant and his daughter. Absolutely incredible news that I found out on Sunday.
Well, in a time where everyone's starting to get ready for the Super Bowl at the end of this week, it was just unexpected, and more information is coming out about the crash. And not only was it Kobe Bryant and his daughter, but there was about 7 other people involved.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it just caught everyone off guard. I know the Lakers and the Kings had to postpone one of their games on Tuesday,
which was the appropriate thing to do. Good for the NBA.
And you also had Mark Cuban come out and say no Dallas Maverick will ever wear 24 again. Mm-hmm. A couple other players have decided not to wear number 8 anymore. Even Joel Embiid, when he came back from his injury with the Sixers.
Yep, actually wearing 24.
He actually got permission from Bobby Jones because 24 for Philadelphia is a retired number. Mm-hmm. And he actually scored 24 points.
Yep.
So it's kind of a coincidental thing. There's a lot of emotion right now with that week, and it even transcended just the basketball world. You had tennis players, soccer players, football players, especially in the media day for the Super Bowl, absolutely. Mentioned Kobe Bryant. So sort of a heavy pall over this weekend, but little by little, I think everyone is starting to get back into the swing of things of what's going on, and he'll be missed. Absolutely.
Well, we got a great show coming up for you. Later on the show, we have our Super Bowl picks plus our prop bet picks. We picked a couple of prop bets that we like. We're going to have the Turnpike Sports book report where we talk about what's going on in the book sports books across the country. And I'm going to have a great interview, part 1 of my interview with Martin Harris. Martin Harris is a writer and reporter, a teacher of American Studies at UNC Charlotte, and also the author of the new book, Poker and Pop Culture. We're going to be talking about sports betting, online casinos, online poker, and he's a great resource to find out all about the news of the day. But let's take a ride on the Turnpike. And today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today, and now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Okay, for the sports betting exit today, just a little follow-up on the story we did earlier in the month. Penn National is indeed buying Barstool Sports, and that's going to be, more details are going to be coming out as we go along here. In terms of what we're going to talk about here today for the sports betting exit, West Virginia appears to be getting Delaware North back into the sports betting business.
Okay, yeah. What happened? When was the last time they had the West Virginia's first sports betting app, but that had to be
Lucky.
Yeah, Bet Lucky, is that what it was called?
Yeah.
So, but they had to close that down because of a third-party dispute. Is that correct?
Well, they shut down March 8th of 2019.
Okay.
They had a deal in place with Delaware North had a deal in place with I believe it was Myomni, which is the name of the company, to do their sports betting tech. They were running all the technology for both retail and online. They created the Bet Lucky app. They had a dispute. Myomni had a third-party dispute with their technology.
It was Myomni that had a problem with another party, and it was just rippled down the line. Okay.
Yeah, it shut down all the Delaware North sports betting.
Wow, boy.
So
what a mess.
Yeah, and they just recently announced that they're going to be starting up their sports betting operations at the Mardi Gras Wheeling Island Casino, as well as relaunching a new app. I don't know if it's going to be called Bet Lucky, but they're going to be launching a new app.
Well, the first one wasn't too lucky, so they should not use that name.
But they're going to be partnering with IGT.
Okay. Yeah, no, they're a big name in the what are they? The gambling industry. IGT is everywhere. You see them in the slot machines and stuff like that.
And some other video gambling machines, that sort of stuff. They have, I think it's IGT Play Sport, which is their sports betting tech.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so they have that. They're going to be operating West Virginia's Wheeling Island Casino, Mardi Gras Casino, both Delaware North properties, and also the Delaware North property in Arkansas, which is in Southland, the Southland Casino, which actually just started sports betting.
Okay.
So that Arkansas just started sports betting a couple days before the Super Bowl. That's an IGT property. It's a Delaware North property. So Delaware North is going to be back in business soon. They haven't announced when they're going to be opening up everything. I would assume within a couple of days here, if not right after the Super Bowl, but probably before the Super Bowl. They have everything there for technology. One little note on the December revenue figures for West Virginia. These two properties were still paying out tickets.
Oh, from when they were operating?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
They reported, both properties reported $1,200 in losses for sports betting.
Okay.
So,
wow, I didn't even think of that. Boy,
it's an interesting thing seeing that happen. I'm assuming once they're up and running, those losses are going to turn back into profits at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Exit 2.
Okay, we just had a new esports league launch, the Call of Duty League.
Really, that's a big game. I would think they'd have a league before this. You know, you would think they'd have it like one of the first ones to have it.
No, they just it's
really?
it's a brand new league.
All right,
it's under the professional sports model, where owners and ownership groups had to buy teams licenses from the Call of Duty League to open up their teams in different cities around the country and also around the world too. They've announced their new sponsors for 2020. They call them partners. So
all right.
Returning sponsors are Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel.
That just sounds like the official drink of a league.
It's a gaming drink.
Of course it is. I mean, that's
it was specifically
it
designed
just has
for
the name
gamers.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So a little higher caffeine content.
I haven't had a Mountain Dew in so long. Ugh.
Well, I haven't tried this one, so
right.
I'm actually curious to see what this tastes like. PlayStation's returning. PlayStation 4 will be the official
that makes
platform.
Sense. Yeah.
Well, there's so many different platforms to choose from. And also, PlayStation will be the presenting sponsor of the Call of Duty Challengers competition, which is the amateur part of all this. People can actually join the Challengers League to actually get a spot in the Pro League.
Oh, okay. So it's like the minor leagues, and if they like what you're doing, you move up.
Exactly. So they're going to be doing that, and their newest sponsor is the Air Force.
Wow. Okay.
So remember we did a story before the Navy shifted all their advertising into esports and e-gaming. Okay. Air Force is doing something similar, not along the lines of 97% like the Navy did. But
seems like a perfect fit. Call of Duty, U.S. Air Force, I get the tie-in.
So. Well, the military stuff.
Sure.
Other returning sponsors, Astro Gaming and SCUF Gaming. They're the official headset, which is Astro Gaming, and SCUF, which is interesting. They have an official controller.
Okay.
Yeah, so everything. The headset is one sponsor. The controller is another.
I remember my 2600 Atari had nothing like this. Headsets, had that joystick with a big red button.
Well, this is interesting because not only will Astro sponsor the headset, they're also going to sponsor a new content series regarding the MVP awards for esports, the Call of Duty League, I should say.
Okay.
Not just esports, but just specifically the CDL, Call of Duty League. And SCUF will also have some activation events at the actual gaming centers, all that stuff. And they're also going to sponsor Behind the Controller, a documentary series focusing on the players and the league itself. So congratulations to the launch of the league and all the new sponsors they brought along with it.
Exit 3.
Okay, we got the Super Bowl coming up, and last couple episodes of Turnpike, we've been talking about the different advertising. We talked in Behind the Numbers about the presidential campaign ads we're going to see.
Yep.
And also some of the other ones. I think Pop-Tarts is going to have their very first commercial in the Super Bowls for their little snack-sized bites.
Which, by the way, I tried. They were very good, by the way. I tried strawberry, and I really like it. I want to try this cinnamon and brown sugar. I think they only have 2 flavors. Am I right?
That's right.
I only saw 2 flavors.
They're going to be bringing out more.
Okay, good. They're very good. They're like little bags and little bite-sized Pop-Tarts.
From what I understand, the Super Bowl commercial may or may not, they're being very coy about this, introduce a new flavor.
Okay.
So we'll see. But
they have a ton of new flavors in the regular Pop-Tart thing.
They have pretzel crust now.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't see that one, but no, they have a ton of flavors.
But here we're going to be talking about Hard Rock's Super Bowl ad. And basically, we just talked about Pop-Tarts. This is Hard Rock coming in saying, hold my beer. Because they are going to be launching this huge 60-second ad that details the history of Hard Rock.
All right.
The Hard Rock Stadium, which the Super Bowl is being housed in.
Sure.
And it's going to be directed by Michael Bay.
Okay.
So they're going all out.
Yeah, no. They put on good shows. We were at the opening of the Hard Rock in Atlantic City, and they had, like, giant dancing robots. They had the guitar smash to open up the casino. They had it was an incredible scene when they do things. So Hard Rock puts on a good show.
I'm actually going to be curious to see how they work in the legacy of the Seminole tribe in a 60-second spot for the Hard Rock brand, what they're doing with everything. It's going to feature a lot of celebrities and sports figures, according to Jim Allen, which is the chairman of Hard Rock International. And the fact that they're doing it for this Super Bowl, it's in their stadium, but it's also the 50th anniversary of Hard Rock International.
I didn't even know that. I didn't know it was 50 years.
And it's the NFL's 100th anniversary. And, they just launched the guitar-shaped hotel in October. So this is all in terms of getting a little bit more Hard Rock into the game itself if there's not enough for people.
Exit 4.
All right. NFL wide receiver Larry Fitzgerald is going to follow in the footsteps of NFL quarterback Aaron Rodgers. He bought a minority stake in an NBA team.
Okay.
Now,
Rodgers has
he's got a minority stake in the Milwaukee Bucks.
Milwaukee Bucks, that's right.
Green Bay quarterback, Milwaukee
Bucks. Makes sense.
So he's a minority owner of the Milwaukee Bucks since 2018. Larry Fitzgerald has bought a minority stake in the Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
So in-state, he's been a season ticket holder for the Suns since 2005. It made sense for him to do that, and he actually turned them down twice beforehand to buy a minority stake in it. And last year they approached him while he was thinking about retiring. Before he made the decision to come back for one more year, he decided to go ahead and get involved and buy a minority stake in a basketball team.
So is this a sign that he is retiring soon? Well, certainly he's going to have to retire soon, but is he retiring sooner than later?
Reports are he was mulling retirement on the offseason last season.
Okay.
He's mulling retirement again this offseason.
That makes sense.
He already signed. He's coming back for one more year.
Oh, one more year. Okay.
So this might be his last year. It might not be.
Hey, he's looking to the future.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if he continues playing after this year.
All right. And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And to get in touch with Turnpike Sports, you can call or text us at 609-512-5910. Facebook or Twitter, you can reach us at Turnpike Sports. That's the handle for both social media pages. info@turnpikesportsradio.com is our email address. You can also subscribe to the show through Pandora Podcasts, the radio.com digital app, iHeartMedia, iTunes. YouTube has a channel for us. We also are on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on the link there.
And stick around, because later on the show, we're going to have our Super Bowl picks, including some of our favorite prop bets, which is Super Bowl is a great time for prop bets. And we're also going to have the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. But coming up is part one of my interview with Martin Harris. Martin is a writer and reporter, a teacher in American Studies at UNC Charlotte, and the author of the new book, Poker and Pop Culture. We're going to talk about sports betting, online casinos, and online poker. So stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. Hey, this is Dave Weishuttle from Turnpike Sports with this week's Bet Flash. Twin River has entered into sports betting deals with both FanDuel and DraftKings for their newly acquired properties in Colorado. Twin River recently purchased the Mardi Gras, Golden Gates, and Golden Gulch casinos in the state. Two of the sports betting licenses will go to FanDuel and DraftKings, and the company will retain the third one for themselves. New Jersey has become the sixth state to allow betting on the XFL. Along with New Jersey, gamblers can place bets on the new football league in Nevada, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Indiana, and Rhode Island. And finally, if you're a resident of Indiana and always wanted to bet on the Oscars, well, now you can. The Indiana Gaming Commission has authorized the casinos and mobile wagering platforms to take bets on this year's Oscars. According to the new rule, operators can offer bets on all 24 Oscar categories. I didn't even know the Oscars had 24 categories. From the seaside to the desert, from the betting lines to the sites online, Turnpike Sports has got you covered. And be sure to follow us on Twitter at Turnpike Sports.
Haven't you heard? We don't need to hide anymore. Now, we can shop privately for adult products at adamandeve.com. They've got massage oils, lingerie, and lots more we can't mention here. Use offer code SPICE404. They'll give you 50% off almost any one item, 3 free DVDs, free mystery gift, and free shipping. That's 50% off, free shipping, and more. Private shopping starts at adamandeve.com.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant. And insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day. If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation.
When I called, they asked me a few questions and matched me with a powerful lawyer who knew how to fight for me.
Call now. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident victims like you every day.
Call 800-613-4611. 800-613-4611. 800-613-4611.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. There were huge stories in the gambling world in 2019, and 2020 looks to be just as exciting. Whether it's sports betting, online casinos, or online poker, news from the different states are coming at us incredibly fast. So to help us make sense of it all, we're talking to a guest who writes about some of the biggest stories in the gambling world. Martin Harris is a longtime writer and reporter, a teacher in American Studies at UNC Charlotte, and the author of the new book, Poker and Pop Culture. And Martin Harris is on the line with us right now. Martin, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Dave. Glad to be here.
You know, Martin, I think one of the biggest stories, hands down, in 2019 was the growth of sports betting. I mean, living here in New Jersey, it took us almost a decade-long court battle to make it legal, but once it became legal, it really seemed to take off. Now, you've worked in the media a long time. Are you surprised at the growth of sports betting across the country?
Yes and no. I think, well, New Jersey, the country has New Jersey to thank for all of this, thanks to that
You're welcome.
challenge of the PASPA, the federal ban that was in place for so long, and then all the states followed. And I think some are probably, I think it is somewhat surprising that just so many states have already passed legislation and then are contemplating it too. I mean, we're talking about nearly half the country now has some kind of sports betting up legal at least, and up and running in a lot of states. And then the other half of the country, almost all of it, every state, you have lawmakers who have legislation that they've proposed or that they're contemplating it. And so it is quite remarkable.
You know, for me, and I'm glad you're on because you've been a reporter and a writer for a long time. For me, it's fascinating to see how the media has reacted to legalized sports betting. I mean, TV shows, radio shows, their periodicals. Do you see more of a collaboration between the media outlets and sports betting operators in the near future? I mean, it seems like a match made in heaven all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think so. I'm old enough to remember the old, the NFL Today show.
Yes.
Where they'd have Jimmy the Greek on there, and he'd go through he'd tell you the intangibles, and he'd tell you, who he favored, and that was actually a little bit of an outlier then. And of course, we didn't really see much of that at all the last, couple of decades. It's been one of those. It's almost taboo when covering sports to talk about the gambling side of things, and it was always a little bit of a game because it was there, but people, weren't really addressing it. But now it's amazing because this Supreme Court ruling happened in May 2018, so we're not even 2 years into that. And we see it all the time now. We see it in the coverage of the NFL playoffs and on ESPN. The ESPN News channel they now give you the spreads and everything on the side of in the sidebar constantly. Obviously, sort of making it front and center. And so I think that is an interesting. I agree. I'm also kind of intrigued by how the media has picked that up and made it part of the conversation about sports that maybe non-sports bettors were really even thinking much about before.
I'm glad you brought that up with the Jimmy the Greek. I mean, they also had the point spreads and they also had the injury reports. Why would a normal fan want to know about the injury reports and things like that? I mean, as a reporter throughout the years, did you see this on the horizon? When 2018 happened, you say, well, yeah, it was about time because we were hinting at it all these years, all these decades beforehand. I mean, this was the natural outcome of guys like Jimmy the Greek. People like Brett Musburger was the NFL today, and now he has a gambling media company. I mean, as a reporter, did you see this coming?
Well, I guess, I don't know. It's so hard to predict, what the lawmakers dictate is so, it's so hard to guess what they're going to do. And so, especially on a federal level, I think for a long time it was just hard to imagine that law. I mean, it was in place from 1992, and so it was hard to imagine that going away and that sports betting would be allowed anywhere but Nevada, and there were a couple other states that could do little sort of parlay things, but they didn't really have sports betting. But it was hard to imagine. But we all knew, like all of us who are sports fans and who are involved with reporting on the games and so forth, we know that there's a high percentage of sports fans who enjoy betting on sports and did it anyway, whether it was legal or not. And then I think the rise of the fantasy sports, which found a little loophole there, and so they were able to kind of offer their games to all the states, and then there was some pushback on that, and so certain states had to kind of drop out of that. But that kind of maybe started making it seem more possible that sports betting, just generally speaking, would become more available, because you had more and more people. Actually, things like you say, the injury reports and all these kind of specifics having to do with the games that the casual fan isn't really necessarily learning about. That was becoming something that people were paying attention to, and that might have kind of paved the way. I think people who were really paying attention, I'm not going to, boast that I was, able to foresee it or anything, but people who were paying attention could sort of see maybe that opening the door a little bit, and then of course it's busted wide open now.
In 2019, it seemed like every week there was new legislation in different states coming out. I mean, the news coming out of these places were incredibly fast and breaking from day to day. Do you think that will continue in 2020? Do you think, or will it level off a bit? Will there be a surge of states and then it'll level off? Or, I mean, can we expect 2020 to be like 2019 with regard to legislation from states?
Yeah, I was looking at this. I was trying to decide. I had a feeling you were going to ask me something like that. I was looking at sort of how it went last year and the year before, actually. And you saw sort of a little rush of states in both 2018 2019. You saw some states really desperate to get on board before football season started. And so there was, I think in the summer, it might be, you'll see this sort of thing. I guess the legislatures in the different states, they can pass these laws whenever. Mm-hmm. But then the regulators step in and then they try to get it up and running. And so I think maybe in 2020 we might see something like that where, July and August, we sort of see more states joining the game and offering sports betting in time for football season, and then maybe it'll slow down a little bit after that again, and the pressure to get it going won't be as high. But I think so. I was looking at it not long ago, and I guess it was, in counting Nevada, there were 8 states who passed things in 2018, and then there were 12 more, including D.C. So we got up to 20 by the end of 2019. And I would imagine, I don't know if it's going to be as many as 12 more states, but it'll be a significant number, I would imagine, in 2020.
Like I said, you've written about gambling for a long time. I mean, not just sports betting, but online casinos and online poker. My question to you is, do you think sports betting affects other gambling in a positive way? I'm asking this because, I'm sitting here with my phone that has 4 sport book apps, and they all have links to online casinos. And I talked to a lot of casino operators who said, you know what, we want sports betting because we want the millennials coming in and maybe they'll play our slots and our table games. Do you think that sports betting is having a positive effect on other forms of gambling?
I think that, I come at this mostly from, a lot of my reporting has been in poker and online poker. Mm-hmm. And that was a conversation that has often surrounded online poker, where the poker players would then be invited to play the other online casino games, which, generally speaking, are much more profitable for the sites. Mm-hmm. And so there was this incentive to sort of get them also to go play some blackjack or slots or these other things. And I think there was decent conversion there that made that, and still makes that, kind of a part of the game there when it comes to online poker. I think that's got to be true for sports betting as well. And especially for the states, I think this is a key distinction actually to bring up, is that most of the states do have online capability, and it's a different game really. It's in terms of legislation and regulation and everything. For the state can make sports betting legal, but there are a few states where they don't have the online option yet. And that's huge. And in the states that do have the online option, it tends to be a big part of the handle and the revenue and everything. It's something like, I was looking at New Jersey and just looking at them over the last few months, and it's like 80-85% of the action is online.
Yeah.
And so amazing. That's crucial. And so when you talk about, is sports betting helping with the other games, if they have an online option, I think that's probably the case. And if they have online, casino games available, I think that there's got to be a decent percentage of people because sports bettors, I think there's a lot of overlap between sports bettors and people who play other casino games, but not all of them do. And so if they're getting introduced to those games via sports betting, I think that's probably helping in increase the other games too.
Speaking of other forms of gambling, one of the other big stories in 2019 was Pennsylvania's gambling expansion. I mean, not only do they have online casinos, but now they offer online poker. And I want to ask you about the online poker because it just started in November. How is online poker doing in the Keystone State? Yeah,
there's only the PokerStars site right now. And it had, I think it really exceeded expectations. Mm-hmm. It went live in early November. After delays, there was a lot of, Pennsylvania actually passed this massive gambling expansion bill it was in the fall of 2017, and of course they had to go through all this stuff with the regulators and everything, and so we're talking more than 2 years later that online poker finally opened. There was a site, the PokerStars site, and it really did much better than expected. It challenged what's happening in New Jersey in terms of numbers and the action. They had their Pennsylvania Championship of Online Poker, the PA Coupe, they call it, and they had all these guarantees, and they had to increase the guarantees, and it was a huge success. And so that bodes well, although that might be a little misleading because there's only one site to play on, and so that means there's not, the player pool isn't getting divided between sites, and so I don't really know exactly how to judge that yet, but it seems very promising. Pennsylvania's a big state. So.
I got to tell you, that was my next question. I have talked to some people trying to figure out what these numbers mean for online poker in Pennsylvania. Some are saying, it's a good sign. These numbers are sustainable and it looks for growth in the future. But then I hear other people saying, you know what, don't discount the curiosity factor. It's a shiny new toy and people are interested in it because it's something new. I mean, how should people be looking at this number? I mean, is it, they're great, but let's be cautious about it?
Yeah, I think so. I was reading, there's a fellow, Steve Ruddock, who reports on online poker, and it wasn't long ago, I was looking at, he had broken this down with New Jersey as a model and was looking at the numbers and how basically they're high at first and then they go down considerably. And after that, and so he was kind of going back to 2013 when New Jersey first came, their online poker first came online, and kind of writing, delivering a bit of a warning to those who are looking at the Pennsylvania numbers that, this is perhaps likely to happen as well, something like that. So I think, it's kind of, there's so many variables and it's kind of hard poker is such a hard thing to predict and gauge because you have to have players you have to have a certain number of players to have good liquidity and have enough games for it to be, viable. And so, all these people, like you say, who got curious and who played a bit, are they going to stick around and keep these games going? And so, it remains to be seen.
Have you heard of any problems or glitches with regard to the rollout? Because you mentioned 2019, and I remember I was in New Jersey the first day when online went live in New Jersey, and they had problems with geolocation. They had problems with banks not accepting anything from these online sites. I mean, did you hear of any issues involved with geolocation or banks in Pennsylvania? I
haven't really. I don't know if that is a reflection of how the technology has advanced and maybe is a little more secure than it was before. You do, obviously, if you're on Twitter, if you go on gambling Twitter or poker Twitter, you get to hear anybody who has a bad experience, they will let everybody know about that. And so it's not as though it's been without any sort of hiccups. But I haven't heard of any sort of major things happening with that. And so I assume, or hopefully, it's working well. Yeah. This is true also just the online sports betting apps and online casinos generally. I mean, there's been sort of issues here and there, but I think that it's working pretty well.
I feel
a generalization, big generalization.
I feel like a very old guy when I bring up that because, oh my God, the geolocation when I first started online was terrible. It was so bad. Living in New Jersey, I could play poker in my living room, but they told me my bedroom was too close to Pennsylvania, so I couldn't play poker. And I don't have a big house, and that's how bad the geolocation was back then.
Yeah, I remember that as well. Sort of I'm in North Carolina, where we obviously don't have. We have sports betting in the casinos over in Cherokee, and they're talking about online poker for the whole state as a possibility. But anyway, it's basically not been something I've been able to do. But then I would go over to Nevada or to New Jersey, and I've experienced that as well, where you're in a hotel and you're right there in the middle of the state, but you can't convince the site where you are and things like that. But I assume those things are sort of smoothing out a little bit here.
And that was part one of my interview with Martin Harris. Next week we're going to have part two, so you don't want to miss that. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Money matters. Money always matters. If you owe thousands in back taxes to the IRS, how much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I paid less than I owe.
That's right. Money matters. So call Tax Solutions Now and get the IRS off your back. Since 2014, Tax Solutions Now has been a leader in the tax resolution industry. That's why we say money matters. Remove wage garnishments, property liens, fines, and penalties. Qualify for the Fresh Start program or even uncollectible status. Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I owed the IRS over $10,000. I paid a fraction of what I owed.
Call now to reduce or even eliminate your back taxes.
We were being audited. We couldn't sleep. We called Tax Solutions Now.
I called Tax Solutions Now and got the IRS off my back. Thanks. You saved us a ton of money.
Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you? Call now and find out.
Call 800-297-9788. 800-297-9788.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
And the Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book. Available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE. That's P-I-K-E. And you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. You must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, for this week's book report, we've got a whole bunch of different entries. Colorado is making some headlines lately. You have The Score securing market access in Colorado sports betting market.
I always like The Score. I don't know about their. I'm not part of their sports betting thing, but I like their app.
Their app is great for statistics. If you're a fantasy sports nuts, that's what The Score was
even
about.
Sports betting. They have the get your scores and get your notifications of the scores, and it's great.
And they're going to be working with Jacobs Entertainment
to
launch the Score Bet later on in 2020. It's not going to happen right away because Colorado is they're not launching until March Madness, maybe a little after that. It's a minimum 10-year term with 2 successive 5-year renewal terms at the Score's option. So if the Score doesn't like what's going on, they can bail on Jacobs at any time. The Score is also in the news for becoming an authorized sports betting operator of the National Basketball Association.
Oh, okay.
Multi-year partnership, data deal, logo deal, that kind of stuff.
It's a big month for The Score.
Yeah, they've been busy. And they were recently interviewed by Legal Sports Report, and they mentioned the fact that they're actually welcoming the additional competition coming down in New Jersey. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the other states when they make the market launches in different areas of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Also in Colorado, Twin River. Everyone knows Twin River as the Lincoln, Rhode Island casino.
Yeah, I thought of Rhode Island when you said Twin River.
But they have multiple properties around the country. Twin River Holdings, I think, is the official name for it. They just recently bought 3 casinos in Colorado for the purpose of sports betting. They bought the Golden Gates. I want to say Golden Gate for some reason.
No,
it's Golden Gates. Golden Gulch.
Okay, everything's golden in Colorado.
And the Mardi Gras.
All right.
Which, I don't know how you get a Mardi Gras casino in Colorado.
Hey,
but
why not?
But they have all 3 properties. They made deals with one of the properties is getting FanDuel as their sports betting partner. One of the other properties is getting DraftKings.
Wow, good for them.
So they've got 2 major partners here for their Colorado acquisitions. The third casino they're holding on to for themselves to have their own sports betting operation going on there, if they have it at all.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to be getting sports betting licenses for all 3. Illinois released their Phase 2 of their gambling regulations, sports betting rules.
I don't know what's taking Illinois so long.
They are dragging their feet.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine when Chicago gets sports betting? I mean, what a huge market that is. I can't believe Illinois is moving this slow.
Well, they're talking about 23 master licenses.
All right.
Their setup is kind of interesting because they got master, and then they've got the online sports betting, all that stuff. And the online has to wait a while before they can launch if they're not attached to a brick and mortar. But these latest rules, which is kind of I guess this is a good thing for the state. The latest rules give priority to bids that offer the most revenue to the state.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But you know what? Get to it. Illinois and New York are just, I don't know what's taking so long with these two states. It's just ridiculous.
And they also have to have a commitment to diversity in the ownership group.
Okay. Well, that's good.
And they have to have official league data in place before they get a license.
All right.
So data companies are going to make out in Illinois here with this stuff. Michigan, they're launching sports betting in 2021.
Michigan's launching everything. Boy, they had a gambling expansion that involves online casinos, online sports betting, online
that's the
poker.
thing.
It's incredible.
Retail sports betting is going to be launching in 2021. Online sports betting may launch this spring in 2020.
Good. Hey,
so
good.
online may beat the retail stuff.
Which is weird. Usually you have...
It's the other way around.
Yeah, usually you have brick and mortar and then online. But
Indiana, PointsBet is going to be launching soon there. In Iowa, Betfred. We just talked about Betfred last week. They did the deal with Wind Creek, Bethlehem
I had an
in
interview
Pennsylvania.
with about Betfred and
Stephen Crystal.
Yeah, but I had an interview about, what is it, Iowa?
Iowa.
Okay.
They are finally launching Grand Falls Casino.
That's Iowa, right?
That's Iowa. Larchwood,
and they're also
Iowa.
launching in Pennsylvania, too.
They're not launching yet in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And they anticipate 4 total Betfred retail sports books by the end of 2020.
Well, good for
Not
Betfred.
just in Iowa, but around the country.
I was surprised how old Betfred is. I mean, that's one of the...
You don't hear about them too much.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're overseas, and I guess the big one overseas is William Hill, but Betfred has a long history of bookmaking. So good for Betfred.
And last but not least, we can't do a sports betting segment without mentioning New Jersey.
Okay, what did New Jersey do now?
New Jersey is now allowing betting on the XFL.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, there's actually a sports book within walking distance of one of the XFL home stadiums, so that makes sense.
It's at the home stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, it is. It's the Meadowlands complex.
They share a parking lot. But now, is this going to be like, I remember the Arena Football League, that you only had DraftKings. You can only go to DraftKings to bet on.
It's up for grabs.
It's up for grabs now.
William Hill has already released XFL futures and first week odds.
Now, the sports book at the Meadowlands is FanDuel.
And also PointsBet.
There's
also a little window for PointsBet there, too.
Am I right in assuming that FanDuel and PointsBet will have XFL odds?
Oh, you can guarantee it. This is open for everyone.
I hope so.
They're not locking it down to just one entity for this stuff.
First off, I wouldn't know how to bet on these things. I don't even know who's playing or
that's
what
I want to find out. And we should probably talk to getting someone on from these things.
Yeah.
How they figured out the XFL first week odds.
I'd be interested in some of the prop bets that they're offering in the XFL.
They're not doing prop bets yet.
Good, because I have no idea what the rules are. I don't know what kickoffs are. I don't know what punt returns are. I don't know what... I had no idea what some of these new rules are at the XFL, so it should be very interesting.
Well, that's what's happening this week around the sports books in the country, and we'll have more next week, as always.
And the Turnpike Sports Book Report was brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sports book, available anywhere in New Jersey. BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Stick around because we're going to have our Super Bowl picks and some of our favorite prop bets coming up right after this on Turnpike Sports. We'll get back to the show in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time and tell everyone about Bean Genius, the smart specialty coffee subscription service. Bean Genius sells freshly roasted coffee from some of the best independent coffee roasters in the country. They feature over 2,000 specialty coffee blends, all at your fingertips at BeanGenius.com. Here's how it works. Head on over to BeanGenius.com and take their palate profiler test to find out what coffee best fits your taste. Then select from a variety of subscription plans. Every subscription comes with free shipping, and delivery can even be scheduled for once or twice each month. And based upon your review of each coffee blend you try, Bean Genius actually learns your individual taste preferences and then suggests future coffee blends for you. And now you can get 10% off your Bean Genius subscription when you use our promo code PIKE at checkout. Bean Genius offers a variety of subscription plans to suit any coffee lover's needs. Subscribe with Bean Genius today and start enjoying some of the best tasting coffee around. And save 10% off your coffee plan with promo code PIKE. When it comes to online sports betting, PlaySugarHouse.com offers players one of the best experiences in the state of New Jersey. They offer live in-game betting on sporting events worldwide, moneyline bets, point spreads, prop bets, play-by-play bets, and many more. All at PlaySugarHouse.com, your new home for sports betting in New Jersey. Take advantage of one of their 12 easy deposit methods to get in on all the action. And now when you sign up at PlaySugarHouse.com using our promo code PIKE, they'll match your first deposit up to $250. More bets, better odds at PlaySugarHouse.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And this portion of Turnpike Sports is brought to you by PointsBet.com. PointsBet has one of the best sign-up offers in New Jersey. Go to PointsBet.com and sign up using our promo code PIKE. That's P-I-K-E. And when you deposit $50, you'll receive a $100 bonus. That's deposit $50 and you bet with $150. So sign up today at PointsBet.com using our promo code PIKE and start having some real fun. That's promo code PIKE. PointsBet. Stay sharp. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we're going to be doing our picks segment a little differently. During the season, we were picking games with the spread and the over-under and doing multiple games, down to one game. So what we're going to be doing is both the spread and the over-under picks, and also talking about one or two prop bets that we want to that we're going to focus on and for the game. And these are all going to be up on the Turnpike Sports blog. Just head on over to turnpikesportsradio.com and click on the blog button, and our picks will be up there about an hour or so after the show publishes. All right, we have one game to talk about here.
Yeah. San Francisco 49ers versus Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, you're going to see a lot of different point spreads, but the one we're using was the Chiefs are favored by 1.5, and the over-under is 54.5. I've seen this number.
These lines were provided by PointsBet.
PointsBet, yeah, no, but I've seen lines in other places where Kansas City is just favored by a point. So if you always want to get that 1.5 in there to just get that hook going.
Yeah, and the one thing I found interesting, and I've been seeing people talk about this, is not only the number of bets, prop bets for the Super Bowl itself.
Sure.
I saw a discussion online between a couple different people on Twitter regarding the market for prop bets. Las Vegas or Nevada versus New Jersey.
Okay.
Nevada doesn't have a prop bet market only until special events.
All right.
So it's not an everyday thing. New Jersey has them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weird situation in my head, because I'm thinking, if prop bets are such a great market for Nevada, why don't they have them all the time? But they make more money doing it for like Super Bowl, World Series, March Madness. So I don't know how New Jersey's going to proceed ahead of it. I like the fact they have them all the time, though.
Yeah, well, let me tell you something. Super Bowl Sunday is the day for me for prop bets, because, you know, it's one of those. I don't bet on the flip of the coin, or I don't bet on the color of the Gatorade, but I do the other stuff. And I think we're going to do some prop bets, and I tried to look for the most creative and some of the ones I've never heard before. So,
yeah,
we looked around for them. But if you want to get to the game, I guess, should we talk about the game first, or do you want to do the prop bets first?
Well, let me just put this out there, too. If you're looking for specific prop bets, every sportsbook has they have a boatload of them. Yep. All different ones. William Hill's announced they have 1,000 prop bets on the game itself. PointsBet, they offer 578 market-type bets for the Super Bowl, which create over 3,000 total outcomes.
That just blows your mind.
Yeah, so
that's just ridiculous.
Everyone's going full bore for this game, and I guess with all the new markets coming in, it'll be interesting to see exactly the betting amounts for the states as well as the nation overall. The American Gaming Association also said that sports betting for this Super Bowl will break records. They're anticipating
absolutely
25% more
with
betting.
all the new states that allow sports betting now.
Well,
the number of bets on this game will be incredible.
But they're anticipating 25% more people will be betting
sure
on the Super Bowl this year.
Legally betting
because they are saying that the legal sports betting market in the U.S. is having an impact on the offshore books. I don't know how they can really track that. So, but American Gaming Association said look for some new betting records this year.
Great.
All right, let's. You want to just talk about the game right now?
Sure. This game I think is going to be a great game. I think it's going to be incredibly close. I mean, Kansas City has a great offense. San Francisco has an elite defense. And for my pick, when faced with teams like that, I make my choice on that old football axiom: defense wins championships, and I think this will be the case in this game, or at very least, a great defense in San Francisco will keep it very close. So I'm taking San Francisco.
Well, I went with San Francisco too.
Yep.
You look at the two teams all the way down the line: defensive line, linebackers, safeties, defensive backfield, offensive line, receivers. There really is no point in saying Kansas City has better players on every position because San Francisco has that covered. The only question mark are two: the quarterbacks and the coaches. Mm-hmm. As much as I want to see Andy Reid win a Super Bowl, because I remember that Eagles Super Bowl against the Patriots.
He's going to make some weird timeout at the very end of the game. I don't even know how you describe what he does. He looks at the clock and he computes it a different way, which makes everyone else scratch his head.
Actually, every time you see him looking at the clock, it always reminds me of Lon Chaney in the Wolfman, where he's just staring at the clock and nothing happens. But I just
hopefully he doesn't make a huge mistake.
My heart wants to go with Kansas
City.
City,
Will, but whatever.
I'm going with the Niners because I actually think Garoppolo is going to do okay in the game. I think they're going to throw more than 8 times.
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely.
So if you see that prop bet, I would go over, and you may actually see them start out with passing. So,
okay.
And also I went with the over.
I went with the over too. I think I'm going to sweat it out because I think this game is going to go back and forth scoring wise, and I think they're not going to hit the over until late in the fourth quarter. So I'm taking the over, but I know I'm going to sweat this one out.
Well, if Kansas City gets off to their typical slow start in the playoffs here, you're all going to sweat this out. But I have a feeling both teams are going to get off to a fast start. So
I don't know.
I just think this is going to be a fun game to watch. No dog in the fight. But Niners plus 1.5 and the over. So now let's get to some prop bets.
Okay. Yeah, we did 2 prop bets. I could have done a couple because some of them were interesting, very interesting.
Oh, yeah. No, some really unique prop bets out there. Let me do one of mine first here. Total touchdowns. The over-under was 6.5.
Okay.
Now, I can see Kansas City doing 4 by themselves right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco is going to be scoring 2. I honestly think you're going to see probably more rushing touchdowns for San Francisco than you will see that for Kansas City. But, again, I don't know how that Kansas City defense is going to stop Mostert and some of the other rushers that they have there. Again, if it comes down to Jimmy G, no one knows. They can say all they want, but no one knows really. But I'm thinking you're going to see at least 7 touchdowns here.
Okay, my first prop bet is team with the longest play from scrimmage. And here are the odds. The Chiefs are minus 120 and the 49ers are plus 100. And look, I'm saying how San Francisco has a great defense, but I don't think you can stop Mahomes and those receivers of the Chiefs all day. So I think Mahomes is going to hit a big play during the game, and I think that should be longer than any one that the 49ers will do on offense. So I think I'm going with Kansas City on the team with the longest play from scrimmage.
Okay, I tried to find something very unusual for this last prop bet for today. Will there be a successful 2-point conversion? Yes was plus 270. No is minus 400. I honestly think you're going to see one.
Sure, I think so.
And I don't think you're going to see one from Kansas City. I think you're going to see something from Shanahan right off the bat. He may, like, if he gets up 17-0, 10-7, 17-10, the next score they do, if it's a touchdown, you may see him do a 2-point conversion. I don't know about Reed doing a 2-point conversion in the Super Bowl. I know they did a couple during the playoff run, but I honestly think it's going to be an unexpected 2-point conversion here. And I'm going yes, plus 270.
Okay. This one is my favorite, just because of the odds are so whacked out. You can actually make some money on this one. And I chose, you can have 2 chances to win at this. I did first half 2-minute warning to occur with exactly 2 minutes on the clock. Yes is minus 456. No is plus 325. I think there's a good chance that just before 2 minutes, like 2:03, 2:02, they're going to run a play, and it's going to be past the 2-minute warning. You know, they'll call the 2-minute warning at 1:58 or 1:57. And you know what? With the odds of no being exactly 2 minutes on the clock at plus, what is it, 325? Why not take a shot with it? So
you got 2 tries.
I'm going with no. They have the first half and also the second half. So why not?
That's actually a great value bet.
I like it. Yeah.
But people, if you're doing this type of bet, make sure it's for the entire game and not just for one of the halves.
Sure.
Read the wording of the prop bets.
Yeah, no, this one, at PointsBet, they had first half 2-minute warning to occur with exactly 2 minutes on the clock, and they also had the second half 2-minute warning to occur with exactly 2 minutes on the clock. So 2 chances to win on that one, because I like that.
That's a unique bet.
It's kind of a unique thing, yeah. So
all right, so recapping, both of us went with the Niners plus 1.5 and the over. Prop bets, total touchdowns over 6.5, and yes, there will be a successful 2-point conversion at plus 270.
And my prop bets were the team with the longest play from scrimmage. I went with Kansas City at minus 120. And my other prop bet was the first half 2-minute warning to occur with exactly 2 minutes on the clock. I went with no at plus 325. A little value bet there. Well, that'll do it for us. We're down in Atlantic City to watch the Super Bowl, as always. Hey, enjoy the Super Bowl, and hopefully you make some money. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.